Welcome to college football week 10 update. We start with the number one team in the country, Ohio State. Ohio State. 38-14 over Pitt State. Jeremiah Smith, 6 receptions, 123 receiving yards, 2 touchdowns as the Buckeyes crushed the Penn State Nittany Lions. Meanwhile, in Jacksonville, the Georgia Bulldogs take care of business against the Gators, 24-20. Gunnar Stockton, 20 out of 29, 23 passing yards. 2 touchdowns and an interception. As Georgia, this week they will be playing Ole Miss, which it will probably be a tougher test because then after that game, next week's big game will be Texas. So that is a huge game they will probably look at more than Mississippi State. While for the Gators, yes, first time interim head coach. Yeah, it's going to be hard, but they have to fight for a spot, maybe to bowl eligible this season. And speaking of Texas, how about the Longhorns? What a win this is against the 9th ranked team in the country, Vanderbilt. 31-34 Texas. Arch Manning, 25 out of 33, 328 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, who had a concussion protocol last week's game against Mississippi State. And then on Saturday morning, Tumble reported that he was cleared for concussion protocol, which is a big-time upgrade. So now that brings the question, is Texas back? Well, their schedule's not that hard, by the way, if we're looking at their only ranked teams. Georgia on the road, I believe next week next week they play on the road at Athens. If they can win that game, they should be focusing on also A&M, who are also undefeated. And they're going to need Bama, Ole Miss, Georgia, as I mentioned, to lose one of their conference games so that Texas can join A&M or Bama in the SEC title game. But I think for me right now, I say Texas is back for now, but if they do beat Georgia in Athens, then we can start the conversation of, is Texas back as a legitimate national champion contender that we had to talk about earlier this season, which Texas is the favorites to go to the national championship game. That's going to be the question, but I think Texas for right now, they're back. How about this one? 26-20 SMU against the 10th ranked Miami Hurricanes. Ahmad Moses, 15 total tackles, 5 solo tackles, 2 tackles for loss, 2 interceptions. The Mustangs get a big-time home win against the 10th ranked Miami Hurricanes, who came in this game in their first road game away from Florida this season. And is their ACC title hopes close? Because right now, listen, as of recorded, I just watched the college football top 25 playoff rankings, so I do want to say this. Miami is ranked, I'm assuming, 18 or top 15, top 20 or there. But they're in a tough position because Pitt is looking at that ACC title game. Virginia, we obviously know they're still undefeated. Georgia Tech just lost. Louisville's right behind them, right in front of them because of their win against them in Miami. So I say their chances, I don't know. It depends on how these other ACC opponents play it out. We'll see what happens there, but for the playoffs, I don't think they can make it to the playoffs. That's if they can win the ACC title game. So they need to bounce back, and if not, this Hurricanes team may move on with their head coach, or they're going to have to go in a different direction. And as I just mentioned, Miami, you're in big trouble. The first Big 12 game in the history of the Big 12, it was 13th ranked Texas Tech getting the win against Kansas State, 43-20. Jacoby Williams, 17 carries, 135 rushing yards, and a touchdown. Texas Tech get ready for this week's opponent against BYU at home. A huge Big 12 matchup. What could be the preview of the Big 12 title game that could happen in Dallas. Number 18, Oklahoma, went on the road and defeat Tennessee, as I predicted. 33-27, Owen Heineke, 13 total tackles, 5 solo tackles, a sack, a 1.5 tackle for loss. Oklahoma keeps their SEC title hopes alive, while for Tennessee, they were ranked 25th in the college football playoff rankings. So obviously, there's probably a 50-50 chance, but it looks like they have what could be a 25% chance to the playoffs. How about Cincinnati losing badly? Boy, 45-14, as Ryan Davis, who had 8 receptions, 132 receiving yards, and a touchdown. The Utes, the Utes dominated Cincinnati. 23rd ranked USC comes back in the second half and wins against Nebraska, as King Miller, 18 carries, 129 rushing yards and a touchdown. And USC is in that hunt for the Big Ten title game alongside with Iowa, Oregon, Washington, Michigan, and now it looks like Nebraska's out of it. And reports, of course, Dylan Raiola is out of the season with a broken fibula, which is pain. It's so painful to lose your starting quarterback for the Nebraska Cornhuskers. And this game was very important because Matt Rhule just signed a 2-year contract. And turns out this game was really underwhelming. Dylan Raiola came back in that game, unfortunately, out for the season once again. But USC gets this big-time win on the road in Nebraska, and they should be letting the Big Ten know that they're coming after them no matter what happens. What a shootout. Duke 46, Clemson 45. Durham Minnesota, the former Tulane quarterback, 27-41, 361 passing yards, 4 passing touchdowns. Duke keeps their ACC title race alive. For Clemson, Dabo Swinney should be next to fire. All right, this one is the one I predict this was going to happen. North Texas beating Navy 17-31. Caleb Hawkins, 33 carries, 197 rushing yards, 4 rushing touchdowns. Yes, 4 rushing touchdowns. And the Mean Green are now 7-1, and they have probably a chance to maybe get to the American Athletic Conference Championship game with maybe Memphis or Tulane. Depends on how this season goes. The rematch of the Big 12 title game from last year belongs to Arizona State, 24-19. Jeff Sims, who stepped up for Sam Levin, his numbers are crazy. We'll go to the passing game. 13 out of 24, 177 passing yards, a touchdown and a pick. But this is the craziest stat. 29 carries, 228 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns on the ground. Arizona State keeps their Big 12 title race alive. They still keep it alive. And Jeff Sims went for 228 rushing yards as a quarterback. Oh, boy. Whew. That's a surprise. Shout out to the University of Minnesota with the Gophers getting bowl eligible with a 23-20 win over Michigan State. Anthony Smith, 5 total tackles, 3 solo tackles, a half a sack, 2 tackles for loss. The Gophers and PJ Fleck on their way to bowl eligible once again. Here are the other games that happened in Week 10. How about UTSA? The University of San Antonio upsets Tulane 48-26. Bill Belichick gets his first ACC conference win, 27-10 over Syracuse. Ole Miss takes down South Carolina 30-14. NC State upsets Georgia Tech 48-36. Notre Dame keeps their college football playoff hopes alive with a 25-10 win over Boston College. Virginia remains undefeated as they go 31-21 win over Cal. Louisville survives against Virginia Tech 28-16. Michigan also survives against Purdue 21-16. West Virginia take me home because they upset 22nd ranked Houston 45-35. Army takes down Air Force 20-17. Mississippi State is one game away to clinching bowl eligible and also got their first conference win of the season, beating Arkansas 38-35. Arizona crushes to Colorado 52-17. And then the battle of former Pac-12 teams who know each other in the Pac-12, which this year they're still playing twice a year. Oregon State beats Washington State. How about that? That's their second win of the season. The fans went in there invaded the field as Oregon State wins against Washington State 7-10. That is Counts Football Week 10 update video. If you have not seen my other videos, go check them out on my channel. Of course, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell for more sports news.